Hello y'all, good morning. I mean, it's good morning in my world only by virtue of daylight savings, but I'm starting my day with y'all and I am going to do the video that I promised you, which is a Sephordable favorites video. Now, talking about my logic going into this, I know that there are a lot of things at Sephora that, you know, are low cost. Like you can sort by cost, low to high on the Sephora website anytime, see what's on sale, just the least buy-in to get the product in your hand. But I don't love that as the sole means of like weighing something's value. Obviously, I care about the quality. That's all up here in my noodle. But I also ran a lot of numbers to see what was the best thing pound for pound, because when you buy something, I mean, even at the drugstore, but you know, Sephora collection or some of the like lower cost brands at Sephora, a lot of times you're just getting less product. So that was not my sole calculus. This isn't all just the cheapest thing pound for pound. And it's also not the cheapest thing in terms of buy-in. It is what I recommend. Like out of the things that I feel like have that value built into them, these are also what I recommend regardless, like in terms of performance, and we're gonna do a full face of them. So I hope that that's exciting for y'all. I know a lot of people are like, you use some of the most expensive things at Sephora, and that's not always what I wanna hear about. So I think that this is going to be valuable for those folks. I hope that it is, and if it is, you know, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe while you're here. Let's go ahead and jump in. Y'all, Olaplex sent me so much stuff, like so much stuff. And so I got to try a ton of, like, I haven't used that stuff since I was a hairstylist. And I always used to use the Olaplex step 1, you know, in like highlights, because it's supposed to be like I mean, it's a very good like bond building hair protection treatment that goes in with your bleach. But they sent me like the shampoo and the conditioner and like the deep conditioner also. My hair has never been smoother in my life. You can't see my bun. You can't see my bun, so I look a little bit like a sister wife. But either way, like, she's so shiny. She's so shiny. But Lord knows, I cannot deal with my hair being down while I do my makeup. I can't deal with it down while I'm doing a puzzle. I'm just like, it's in my mouth, you know? Trigger warning. I have a goblet of whole milk back there. I'm a menace. I am who I am. All my other cups were dirty, okay? Okay, so out of the gate, I just want to clarify, especially with the 30% off on Sephora collection during the entire Sephora sale, Sephora collection is almost always going to be the cheapest thing that you can get at Sephora by design. They are a business daddy, and so they can behave accordingly, but also they do have less product in the package in some cases. And when I actually weighed out the price per ounce and things like that, this really comes in like as a front runner. This is the Nessa Myricks Yummy Skin Serum Skin Tint. It is, I think, like $38 or something. So you're like, okay, that, you know, most foundations and skin tints at Sephora don't come in under $40 for the most part, but this is 1.58 fluid ounces. This is so much product that it puts it right there in line, like exactly the same as like the skin tint from Sephora collection, just at full price, you know, not with the 30% off and everything. But still, this is 20% off right now if you're, you know, a big spender like me. But anyway, it's just important to mention that this is one of my favorite products anyway. Like, this is one of those skin tints that I recommend no matter what. And I love it because it has a lot more coverage than other skin tints, but it doesn't feel like it's just calling itself a skin tint, but it's actually like a full coverage foundation. And I do think that the shade range is really beautiful. It's just one of those things where it's like, I don't know, I once heard a friend of mine who's a brand owner say that when you're formulating foundation shades, a really true neutral, like a really true neutral for each shade, should be flexible enough to make do on just about anybody of that like skin tone level. And I was like, that's a big claim. Like that's a big thing to say, but this is a brand owner who has developed an exhaustive shade range. And yes, that brand owner also made like, you know, desaturated olive shades and stuff like that. It wasn't like, oh, I'm only gonna make neutrals and everybody can just make do, but they had done makeup, you know, professionally for a really long time. And it's like, in terms of just matching clients and stuff like that, a neutral, like a really, really good neutral for each shade value is a pretty fantastic place to start if you can do it right. And this line seems, I mean, she has added more shades and things like that. I don't think that, again, she's using it as an excuse or anything like, oh, all the shades are flexible. But like, I wear shade 2, and when this came out, so many people I knew who were just my same shade value, but not the same undertone, also wore shade 2 really comfortably. And I think that that just kind of speaks highly of Danessa Myricks' experience, obviously, and then, you know, whoever else she had like help her develop the shade range, because it's just, again, it just seems like a really good, flexible, well-informed shade range. And look how freaking gorgeous it is. Especially if you need hydration. I'm just such a fan of the amount of hydration in this without it feeling like it's one of those like skincare based, like skincare first foundation formulas, because a lot of times when you're dealing with those, it starts to get soupy, it gets like high profile on the skin and starts to like crease and stuff. This somehow just doesn't do that. Danessa is, I always say, such a texture queen. You know, she understands how things are going to behave on the skin. She, I think, is one of those people who is just like genuinely curious, like genuinely interested and excited about the way that makeup acts on the skin, and you can just feel it through her products. I think that she's just excited to bring new ideas to market, and I think that she's one of those people that like, the more she like a lot of times I talk about makeup lines where I'm like, yeah, I feel like they had their best ideas right out of the gate, and then like Sephora has been like pressuring them to just keep milking their ideas. I feel like Patrick Ta is like that. Sometimes I feel like Makeup by Mario is like that, but like I feel like Danessa has infinite ideas. Like she's only just begun, you know? And this, all of her complexion products are gorgeous. They really are. But this one is my favorite of hers. And I mean, good grief, is that pretty? Isn't it so pretty? It doesn't even feel like I have anything substantial on my skin, but it also feels like, if you're a dry skin person, it's that level of hydration that just makes you feel kind of like secure. You know, like, oh, it's not gonna dry out and get cakey and weird on me. All right, so I need y'all to hear me out on this next one. We've talked about this many, many times, but even though the price has gone up by $3 on this, so this is the Prisme Libre Skin Caring Concealer from Givenchy. I know. We're talking about a luxury product here. This is a luxury fashion house. Still, this is $108 an ounce because you get 0.37 ounces of product in here. The Tower 28 is more expensive pound for pound than that. The Sephora collection is $100 an ounce. So it's like, for the quality and the longevity of how long this package is going to last you, and you could use it as a foundation too, this is basically like, I think, the best value. I think that this concealer is the best value at Sephora. That's a huge claim, but like, it's just so gosh darn much product, and it's such a beautifully high performing formula. So I think it also complements the Danessa Myricks formula really well, because again, it has that like performance and also is very hydrating and has a generous amount of coverage, like makes me feel confident when I wear it. But this is one of those things where when I wear this concealer, I will catch myself in any lighting throughout the day and be like, daggum, I cannot find a complaint. You know, a lot of times I'm like, ooh, you know, especially depending on using like the wrong setting powder or something like that. Or sometimes formulas just disagree with each other, you know, depending on how much silicone or water or oil is in a formula. These go together really beautifully. I have worn these two products together, I mean, literally for like years. They're just two absolute mainstays for me. And my skin is not in like the most A+ shape right now. I mean, it's okay, but like I had myself a little pick fest last night. So I do appreciate the coverage on both. Look at that. I'm not afraid to turn the light down. Let's do it. I like makeup that does the work for you. And those really do the work for you. I'm gonna powder just a little bit underneath my eyes. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea how this stacks up. I don't ask questions about the things that I think are non-negotiable, and I mean, this isn't exactly Gucci priced. Like, this is the Kosas powder. It lasts me years. I finish it and I buy another one, but it is the only one that I absolutely will use every single day. You know, it works with every face of makeup. Just don't count that one towards my recommendations if it's wildly expensive pound for pound. I have no idea. There really aren't that many cream contours at Sephora that I even like stand by. The new ones from Haus Labs are pretty expensive, pound for pound. And you know I love the Dior. It's still 10 grams of product, so it's $5 a gram. And then the ABH is like $4.25 a gram. So we're gonna go with the ABH just because I do think that it's really, really lovely. And I like the Makeup by Mario, but this is more of a bronzer. I mean, I think they call it a bronzer. It's just a soft sculpt shaping stick, but even though this is fair, which is like the lightest shade, there's no like fair cool. It still is quite like peach by comparison to a lot of contours. And when you get into like cream bronzers, oddly, like as far as what I would consider to be a bronzer on me, things get very inexpensive. It's actually pretty remarkable how inexpensive some cream bronzers are pound for pound. So anyway, we're gonna go in with the ABH. This is a beautiful formula. I need to find a brush that I wanna use. There we go. This formula is very different from the Dior because it's like very like low pigment and a little bit like creamier. And so it blends in a way that kind of, you can just blend it away. Like I would draw straight onto my face with this one. I could do that with the Dior, but I do feel like trying to blend it, I would like blend a lot of my makeup away. But it's not only is it a really lovely, like more beginner friendly formula because contour can be really intimidating, but it also, I feel like has a really good, for being pretty gray, has a really nice balance of like mauve in it that makes it go like beige on my skin instead of gray. I think that there's really something to be said for, at these fair skin tones, having a little bit of like purple in it. Like this one has a little bit of rosiness to it. And I think, because my friend Rebecca is the greenest person, she can use this one. She said she went to Sephora and swatched all of the Haus Labs ones, and the fairest one was too like sooty gray on her, like very, very ashy. And she's like my skin level, but just very green and high contrast, but the rest of them turned orange on her, which is what happens to a lot of what I call kind of polar undertones. So it's like all makeup is made from obviously skin tones first, and skin tones are all like, they begin at a place of yellow orange, like all of them at some depth level, like everything has like a yellow orange to it. But your undertone can be something that is like on the opposite end of the color wheel from that. So it's like, here's yellow orange on the color wheel, here's like blue and green over on the other side of the color wheel and purple. And if that's your undertone, then like it can be really challenging because like the product in the pan is gonna turn a different color when it gets on your skin. And so it's like you have to constantly be running this calculus in your brain of just like, okay, if I want it to appear this color, then I need to like factor in that it needs this color added to the color that I want for it to like subtract and be the right color on my skin, which is like the basis of my recommendations in most cases, is because like that's a lot to think about. I'm just like, here are the colors that will work for you kind of thing. And so contours can be some of the most challenging things for people with those like polar undertones, because brands don't necessarily take into consideration that for someone with an olive undertone, you need to include purple for it to go beige, instead of either just going gray or it being too bronzatory and just going orange. I also love this component. I love the brushed gold. This is just it's just nice. And I have that in the shade Halftone. Okay, so like I said, as you get into like cream bronzers, they just tend to put an abundance of product in there. And so the cost per gram, cost per ounce, whatever, goes down so quickly. This is the Say Sun Melt, and this is like $1 a gram or something like that. Like when you crunch the numbers of this, it's less expensive or right on the money with the Sephora collection, and it's so beautiful. I don't love every product from Say. Let me see how that actually compares to the ABH, make sure it's actually warmer. There's the ABH, there's the Say. It's very beautiful, like light peach. Very good like winter bronzer shade for me, but I've had the previously lightest shade before they expanded the shade range, and it was also really beautiful. I don't always love everything from Say. It is one of the venture-backed brands that I feel like a lot of times is not really striving to be the best. They're kind of just striving to be good enough. And that isn't something that excites me. You know, that's hard to get me excited about something like that. But this is a uniquely good product in their line. We have another one as well. Like Say does do a few things right. One of the most exciting things about a big pan of cream bronzer like this is that I get to go in with this the BK105. This is my like massive bronzer brush. Do not fear a big brush, okay? Big brush diffuses product better. It doesn't just slam product on, you know, in like this big shape in a heavy way. It actually spreads it more evenly in my humble opinion, okay? It doesn't mean I'm right. It's just what I'm comfortable with, and I like it because it's fast and I'm impatient. Oh my God, where have I been? That color is so pretty. Oh, so subtle. I like it because it's not also incredibly dewy. Even their Dew blush has a dewy appearance, but doesn't necessarily have a tacky, dewy, you know, not dried down finish. How beautiful is that? How beautiful is that? Now, blush, we're not gonna put all of these on my face, okay? Blush is a huge category for me. When I did my best in every category video, cream blush was the one thing that, it was, yeah, pretty much the one thing where I was like, I'm sorry. There is no one standard. I had to name like 5 because there's so many different kinds. And blush is just my passion. Blush and a really, really good Vegemized brown are my passions. And so I have several here, all kind of in different delivery systems, and some of them are going to surprise you. So I have these are not surprising. Glow Recipe is one of the more affordable brands at Sephora, even just on the face of it. And these are the new blushes are very, very inexpensive, pound for pound. Like, it's just a good value. They're really good, and I really love this formula. I haven't been able to shut up about it. The new shades are, the red one is fine, the pink one is wild. Just, you know, again, I'm kind of giving that as like a fair warning for everybody because that thing is fluorescent. It really got me in over my head really quickly, but the original shades, if you are someone who has a little bit more like, you know, low contrast of a complexion, or you just like things to be more muted and like a little safer. The original ones, the Watermelon Flush and the Berry Flush, are more like mixed colors, you know what I mean? They have a little bit more kind of like grunge to them. The Blush is Life from Kosas is a pretty darn good value. The formulas are nice. I just think that like, as you build them a whole bunch, sometimes you will kind of get a little too much mica. And someone did ask me like why I don't recommend the YSL like satin finish. And that's because they are so mica heavy. And that has been the issue with a lot of powder blushes coming out lately, because it has been more trendy to come out with powder blushes that have a little bit of sheen to them. When they get too much mica in them, mica is one color. And it doesn't matter like, you know, what the colors of the formula are. If you have too much mica in there, a lot of times mica is like the first ingredient, you're gonna end up with this like gray flip on the skin if there's too much. And that can happen with these as you get into like either the paler colors, like the cooler toned colors, or if you put any of these colors, like you build them too much on deep skin, it's going to kind of like flash gray, which they came out with the extra bite shades that are like very, very vivid. And those are more for deep skin tones. And I think they have less mica in them. At least the appearance of them has less mica in it. So I do like this. I don't think this is the one that we're gonna be using today. I know this is gonna blow your mind. It blew mine, especially because when I did kind of calculate out all the blushes at one point, pound for pound at Sephora, the Armani was like the most expensive one, pound for pound. Like, you get so little product in that thing. The YSL is actually like neck and neck with a lot of these in terms of how much product you're actually getting for your money, because the Make Me Blush is 6 grams or 0.21 ounces, and like the Blush is Life is 4.5 grams. And then like the Sephora collection blush is like so little product kind of thing. I'm gonna use this just because I wanna make a point that a lot of times the brands that are selling things for less money in terms of buy-in are giving you a lot less product. And I do think that this is still a superior formula to most things. And I have this in the shade 23 Hot Mauve. Is it the most special shade for my skin? No, because it's a little bit more saturated than I would typically go for. It's like a more saturated version of Flirtatious from Pat McGrath. But like Rebecca, she's like, it is a miracle for me. You know, like this is a fantastic color for someone who wants a really natural looking flush on like fair olive skin. I would say medium olive skin. It's just a great olive skin color. And the formula is delicious, okay? I like the Armani formula a lot too. But yeah, the shimmer ones are so mica heavy, in my opinion. Like, I got 2 of them when they first came out and I was like, yikes. Like, they made my skin look so gray. And that is like very similar to the color of my lips. It's pinker, but it's very similar. So it works really beautifully. And it's just a nice base tone. I mean, most people are like, that's enough blush, but like not for me. We're still gonna put like a liquid blush on top. The other liquid blush that I have that I think is really like worth it, again, Sae does a few things really well, and their Dew Blush is really, really nice. So this is the shade Cutie. And I want to say that it's really similar in shade, if not exactly the same, as the Burnt Peach from Rare Beauty that I love so much, and I cannot think of the color. We're gonna be going in with, I think, a peach lipstick today, so I might use this one. We've been talking about these absolutely nonstop lately, so you know, we don't need to apply those again. I think I've applied them in like the last 3 videos. So let's go in with the Sae Dew Blush because it's flipping beautiful. It's so pretty, and I love the colors in this range. They did a really, really nice job with them. It's like certain things in this line, you can tell someone had passion about them, and I feel like whoever is at the helm for Sae has a passion for blush. So I'm going to put this on the back of my hand first, and we will apply it with a brush. I'm just going in with the same brush, the BK 101, and it's gonna bring the skin texture back. Do you see? It's just kind of like, because of the dew of it all, but I'm applying it on top of powder, and so it's going to like soak in a little bit. Oh, lovely. Very, very agreeable formula. Hardly need to use any, but it's not aggressive like the Rare Beauty in the sense where you're like immediately in over your head. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous formula. I think it's just so easy. It's like a very beginner friendly blush, but it's also really rewarding for just about anybody. I need to prep my lips. They are in awful shape right now. Lips were where I got in over my head on like calculations, because I was just like, some product categories are so consistent in terms of how much product you're expecting to get per that purchase. You know, foundations are almost always in the ballpark of like an ounce, but everything from concealers to bronzers to lip glosses, I mean, it is an absolute Wild West crapshoot. Like there's like no standardization to it at all. So it was really, really all over the place. I am so excited about eyes because these are products I haven't touched in a while, and like they're products that I really like. So I have here, I talk about this all the time, but I haven't used it in a long time. This is the Colorful Shadow Stick and Liner from Sephora. Sephora collection with their eyeshadow sticks. They're awesome. Eyeshadow sticks are expensive, and like these are the cheapest ones, obviously, you know, by virtue of a lot of things at Sephora, and they perform just as well as anything else. They're really lovely. They're very matte though. I'm not sure if they have shimmer ones, they probably do, but the mattes are like really matte. So, you know, bear that in mind. Not all of them are like that, you know, brand to brand. So if you really like a matte one, this is really, really good. So I have it here in espresso. I'm just gonna use it to base, kind of like, you know, in my corners and stuff, so that like my outer corners and stuff, because it's just a really good, quick way to do that. I have a Singe EO6 here. I just like something that's kind of a little bit flat, but also fluffy for cream eyeshadows. So this is quite deep, but it's gonna do a great job of like, again, doing the crease really quickly. I just wanna show this to you. It's probably gonna end up getting covered up by the other stuff that I use, but it is such a good eyeshadow stick. I think when I bought this, they were like redoing everything, and it was like, I loved it, but I wanted to buy more, but they didn't have, like, they also took their other eyeshadows, the little single shadows, off the website for a while, and then they brought them back, and I think they like changed the packaging, which they needed to. It was really bad. Yeah, I need to get more of these. They're really, really beautiful, and they're really easy to work with. And you know, are you sacrificing anything by buying this instead of something else of the same packaging at Sephora? No, because much like a brow pencil or an eyeliner or something like that, it's really hard to build luxury quality into a component like this. You're kind of getting the same thing no matter what component-wise, so why not, you know? So espresso is pretty much the same color as the tiramisu eyeliner, which we will also be using. It's a very pretty kind of, again, it's got that deep brown that has a little bit of blue to it, but just enough, like it's violet. I'm so excited because I haven't dipped into this palette in so long, and I'm gonna use this as an opportunity to talk about another palette that isn't available anymore, and it makes me really sad because it's the one I would have used. I think they probably took this off the market because it doesn't doesn't travel well. Like the shadows were so soft that they all like want to break. And so that's like, yeah, like it's just an absolutely horrible condition. And this, I don't travel with it. I just keep it in a drawer and they've all shattered. This is the Rose Metals palette and I will die on this hill. This is one of the most beautiful palettes I own, but it's like, it's so fragile. This is actually the format that I'm modeling my own palette after. Not like the formulas, but I just like the 12 pan setup. I just really like it. So we're gonna be using Nouveau today. It's a very cost-effective palette. It really is. I love the ABH setup. I think that for 12 shades, this is just such like a compact delivery system. And they use the space so well, how big the shadows are for how little the package is. And I just think that they're really pretty. So yeah, I do. I kind of think in this amount of shades in terms of making a palette for people. And so this is the direction I'm personally going in with the palette that I'm developing. I'm gonna raise funds soon, but I mean, this is still something that's like pretty far out, like a year out or something like that. Anyway, Nouveau is beautiful. When they redid these, I don't know if they reformulated them, but like these are some of the most just, oh my God, so satisfying, these formulas. Like they're just, ooh, ooh, ooh. They're so pretty. Good God, they're gorgeous. So yeah, I haven't touched this in so long and I'm really flipping excited about it. Since we're going in kind of a peachy direction, I think we're gonna like play it really chill today and going with like Fleur and Metro and Lily and Isle and just see what we can get. Got here a 212 from BK. We're gonna start with Fleur. Nice little rosy tone. I love these formulas. They're really soft, but also really blendable. I didn't love the old, I do think that these are updated formula-wise. I didn't love the old ABH formula because I felt like it blended so much that it like blended away, but these really have a nice happy medium to them. I really am a fan of again, kind of cluing y'all into my logic kind of going into creating my own palette. I like the right there in the middle kind of formula. I like it when it blends really beautifully, but it doesn't blend away. I don't want it to stamp. I want it to feel like something that you don't need to have a specific kind of brush for, or that you need to have a specific set of skills for. I want it to be kind of exciting and approachable for everyone. And I feel like the ABH matte formula is like that. I feel like the Urban Decay matte formula is like that. Like those are the formulas that I have always found to be like in my comfort zone. I have not loved naked palettes. I think that they are just not very useful for me. They've never been very useful for me, and the new ones are really not useful for me. And I honestly feel like Urban Decay might have like changed some of their formulas. I feel like at least in the naked palettes, they're just less impactful. I loved the one that looked like it had stones on it. What was that one called? Either way, it had like gem colors in it. It was freaking gorgeous. I loved that one. I loved the mattes in it too. And then I really liked Born to Run. I loved Born to Run. What a great palette. God, what a great palette. But I mean, good grief, right? Good grief. Now, we could get into some color theory here because it's like, that's so rosy. I could use this green to deepen the crease because it's gonna kind of turn beige. Yeah, okay, so I've got the 211 here. We're gonna go in with Liberty and just, yeah, see, it doesn't really appear green as much. It's just that like pink and green, red and green are opposite sides of the color wheel. And so they kind of cancel each other out and create just sort of a muddy brown. Do you see how stupid easy these formulas are to use? Good grief. Lovely. Now let's have some fun with shimmers. Yeah! 2 coffees, no breakfast. Milk. It's Lily for me. It's Lily for me. Come on. Good grief. Look at that color. Ugh. Ugh. Gorgy porgy. Should we take a little bit of, ooh, Belle? The green, and just, I'm not even gonna finish asking that question. I'm just like putting it on because there's a little bit of like a shift in Lily that I feel like goes well with the green. Oh, wow. Pretty. That's just like not something that I have done in a while. I'll take a little bit of, I think Isle is still a little bit too deep to use all the way in the inner corner, but I'll use it kind of like right here. It picks up so beautifully on a brush. Good grief, that's bright. Wow. Yeah, like I said, I'm just like very excited to be playing this palette again. And then we need to go underneath my eye. I'm going to use kind of the same configuration. I'm gonna go in with Lily. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. I'm gonna take a little bit of Belle, which was that bronzy green shimmer, out on the outer corner here. It's so smoky subtle, I love it. Yeah, and then I'll take a little bit more of Liberty, which was that matte green, and make sure, yeah, that the outer corner is still matte. I don't want too much shimmer there. And then I need to blend it, obviously, but I'm just making sure that the placement is good. That's the beauty of this kind of formula too, is you don't have to get it right when you put it on the skin. You can do it in like a placement, and then you can blend it with something fluffy. Maybe even a little bit more Metro. Metro is the kind of like more red pink. Yeah, just really make it look intentional. And vaguely threatening! Anytime I start using something that's like red adjacent on my eyes, I get into vaguely threatening territory, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. And then Paloma is the like pale, you know, close to white shade in here, and it is going to be great for like cleaning up. That's just gorgeous, isn't it? Oh my goodness. I'm gonna do my eyeliner. We're going to use, I need to sharpen this, but we're gonna use Tiramisu from the Sephora collection. This is one of my favorite waterproof eyeliner formulas. It does not love to fit into a regular sharpener though. It will. It just doesn't love it. In order for this thing to stay glidey, I do like to keep it sharp. My mascara and my brows and stuff, like that's not changing. So I'll just zoom through that and we'll come back to lips. Handful of lip products. We're probably only going to use one here, but these are all pretty cost effective, and I wanted to choose things that had color to them. They weren't just kind of like, yeah, that's inexpensive because it's kid makeup made by Glossier to, you know, sell to this new customer base that's coming in and it's not really a product kind of thing. I wanted it to feel like a choice. So these are a fantastic value and they're very beautiful. So these are the Moisture Glow Plumping Lip Serums from Makeup by Mario. It's this kind of super loose, pretty well pigmented plumping formula. I really like the plumping sensation. I also like that all of the packaging is the color of what's inside of it, and there are a zillion colors, which is great. So that's this one right here. It's very, very pretty. Then I pulled the Merit Signature Lip. This is one where it's like, there are only a couple of shades that really work for me, and the new archival shade is in the lip blush formula, which is, that's the only place you can get that formula right now. I think that they're gonna expand it later, but you know, I don't want you to buy the trio just so that you can get that, even though I do really like it. So the Signature Lip is a beautiful formula, and it's very like medium coverage. It's like balmy. It's really, really lovely. And yeah, ginger is a nice peach color, which would probably also work with this today. And then I pulled the Kulfi Lassie Lips. I have this in rose, and this is a stain, but it has a really beautiful liquid lip balm on the top of it. So when you wipe that off, it is one of the only ones, very unique in the sense that it leaves a stain behind that's the color of each shade, instead of it just being sort of like a, you know, across the board kind of like pinky red, which is the case a lot of times. Yeah, I do think I want to go in with the peachy shade Ginger from Merit and just see what happens. It might be too peach for this look. Even though I've tried to include peach, it might be still too much. Let's see. Whoa, yeah, it's too much. Yeah, that's too much for this look. It's like orange compared to this look. Okay. Not that, but I do like the formula. Let's go with the Makeup by Mario. I want to start, actually, if I'm gonna do that, I would like to go in with a Merit lip liner. Lip liners, I think all probably contain about the same amount of product. It's like, go with whatever is the cheapest if you want a low buy-in on that, but I mean, you can get great lip liners at the drugstore. You can, okay? And a lot of shades, so that's one of those things where I'm like, you don't necessarily need to buy a luxury lip liner. Merit though, there's nothing that I can compare to this formula. I just like it because it's so sheer. So I have this in the shade here, Tabak. Beautiful. brown. So I have no idea how this stacks up, but at the same time, it's like, it doesn't have anything else that performs like this. It's just a standalone product to me. Okay, okay. Makeup by Mario in Blush Glow. Let's see how it goes. Ooh, ooh. That's a great color. Good grief, that's a great color. It's so loose. It's such like a loose product. It does not feel like something you want to put on like a lipstick. It's a lot like the Hourglass ones, the balmy glosses or the glossy balms, whatever the hell they're called. Oh, that's just lovely, isn't it? I thought they were plumping. I'm starting to feel it. Okay, there's that. That's gorgeous. I do wonder if rose was the move though. This is so nice. Let's see if rose is the move. Let's find out. I'm gonna show you all three. How's that? What happened? Oh God, the whole thing came apart. Wait, wait, wait. Ah! What's going on? Oh my God, no, rose is not gonna be the move because look at it, it's just like completely disassembled itself. Ew. Okay, sorry guys. I'm making a judgment call here because the whole point of the archival set, even though I'm like, I don't think you should have to buy 3 products to get one unique formula, it is a $74 value if you were to buy all of those products individually. And I do think that all of those products are worth it. It's not one of those ones where it's like, oh, I'm never gonna use those kind of thing. Like one of them, I'm only gonna use 1 out of 3. I genuinely think that the Merit archival set is worth it because you're getting 3 full-size products. This is the archival lip liner, and I think it's gonna go really beautifully with this. I just wanted purple. I wanted like a really good mauvey brown. I am not, by definition, olive undertoned. And I used to say, oh, there's olive in my skin because I'm Italian. I'm not Italian. I did a 23andMe. I have no idea who lied where, but I have no idea why I have an Italian last name because we're not Italian at all, not even a drop. So like, I don't know. But I did end up with a little bit of olive in my skin that is so evident when I'm sitting next to Alex. Cause he does have, like we have the same skin tone, but he has such a pink overtone that like I look green. Okay, so here is the archival lipstick. This is the lip blush. Listen, the only reason that this didn't make it into my Sephora recommendations, or actually my top favorite one product in every category, in fact it did, but I had to edit it out because I realized that this is the only shade in this formula so far. I was like, in terms of matte lip colors that are like this finish, this finish, this coverage level, whatever, this lip blush formula is a revelation. It is so beautiful and somehow not drying at all. And I mean, good grief, this color is unreal, but it's the only one right now. When there are more of these, this is zooming to the top of my recommendations. And as far as introducing a shade and making it exclusive to a certain limited edition set, we're talking about knocking almost $20. I think it's like $22 actually off of if you were to buy each of these. Yeah, you're knocking $22 off of the price of buying each of those formulas individually in shades that don't exist anywhere else individually. It's just a fantastic value. In my opinion, I really, really think they nailed it on this one. It's kind of one of those, again, it's like, most value sets aren't really a value set. This one's like a cheat code. And that's the look, y'all. I'm very satisfied with it. And honestly, I hope that this is like information that is not necessarily like obvious. I hope that I did a necessary amount of digging into these prices and what you're getting for them, and also leveraging, again, like my brain power in terms of like what it is that I actually think is like a fantastic, user-friendly, easy to use, beginner-friendly, whatever, like valuable formula to give y'all some recommendations that honestly might surprise you. They surprised me that it was like when I went into what was actually like a cost-effective thing, that it was already a lot of the things that I love anyway, because I was honestly expecting most of my recommendations to break the bank. But if you're gonna finish a product, like if you see yourself as someone who is going to buy a product and finish a product, thinking about it in terms of how much product you're actually getting for your money is actually something that pays dividends because, if you love luxury, you deserve luxury. And some of these luxury products are still the more cost-effective option. And I'm just happy to report the news, I'm happy that that's the outcome. So if y'all found this valuable, again, please give the video a thumbs up. If you're new here, you just haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe while you're here. We would love to have you. I will put a video up here that I think you'll enjoy if you liked this one. I appreciate y'all being here. I love you so much. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.